Good morning, everybody. It's like almost 11 a.m. and we just filmed a really cool Facebook Live with my buddy Eric Reichenberg, who owns Epic Weddings and Events out here in Reno, Tahoe area. And we're on another Raw Focus, guys. I'm Jeremy with Jeremy Lou Photography, and I don't know how long I'm going to keep saying the photography part. Even though I'm not quitting photography, I want this podcast to be something a little different, but you guys will notice that a lot of my interviews are going to be off of wedding vendors and people that I know, which is the wedding industry. And it's just people I work with that I kind of want to get to know a little bit more. So that's where we're at with this. Guys, it's April freaking 19th right now. What is it? April 19th, April 20th. And we are, we're still in the pandemic. We're still quarantined. The president said that we can start opening it up as early as, I guess, yesterday. But nobody's really doing that now. I think it's a little soon. But being in Reno, we don't have that many cases as far as like New York and everything, but it's growing and we're doing our best that we can. So keeping the kids inside. We are, Lindsay went shopping yesterday to two spots, and that's really been it. We've been eating at home. We've been sticking to our veganism. My veganism, they've been modifying a little bit, which is totally chill. So it's been going well. I'm excited, losing weight, getting more fit. And although yesterday I just vegged out. Yesterday I just sat at home. I'm trying to catch up on Westworld Season 3 and trying to remember Season 1 and 2 because it's been so long. And so I love that show, Westworld. If you haven't watched that show, get HBO. It's freaking amazing. I just added it to Hulu for like $15 a month. I only watch a few shows and I quit it when I can't find a show, and then I'll join back next year. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Waiting on SBA loans to kind of come through again. Hopefully that pushes through by the time you listen to this. Maybe we have gotten it. Maybe I have gotten it. And then unemployment and all that stuff, because we do talk a lot about our lives and everything. And that's kind of the number one thing. And I know I'm mentioning it on the podcast, but it's the number one thing I'm thinking about every day is how I can go back to work and what I can do and work through it. So that's where we're at right now. Guys, Eric is a good buddy of mine, and we met through the wedding industry. We met through weddings, and then ultimately we saw each other at more and more weddings, meetings, vendor meetups, and all that stuff. And I consider him a friend at this point. He's helped me with a bunch of things. I've helped him with a bunch of things. And one of the things that you'll hear in the podcast is he's very, very professional, and I'm professional to a point. And I think that when we get together, we talk a lot about business. We talk a lot about what's going on in the wedding industry, how we can help each other and all that. But we don't really know much about each other. And I don't know. I don't know if he knows a lot about me or not, but I don't know a lot about him on the personal side. And it kind of it didn't upset me, but it kind of put into perspective. A few months ago, I was having a conversation with him, and we spoke about something that happened in his life, something personal, and I didn't put two and two together. And I know him for so long, and it was such a big thing that how did I not know that? We don't really touch on this. I'm not going to mention it, but it's one of the things where it made me realize as a person, like, Jeremy, you need to do better at talking to people, because really that social aspect game that you have, that you think you have, you don't. You don't know these people personally. You just kind of put yourself out there, talk about yourself all the time, blah, blah, Jeremy this, Jeremy that. And I kind of hate it. I hate it. So I don't really want to do that anymore. So I really wanted to learn more about him. And I feel like at this point, I do know more about him. And it makes me happy. We share an old job of McDonald's. We didn't work at the same McDonald's or anything, but we had a little bit of McDonald's talk. And of course, we talk a lot about business and where we're at with everything, because he owns he used to be just a DJ, and then he expanded where he has a video team, DJ, photo booth. And so he has a huge business and a huge company that he's managing with help from his wife, Frances. And so it's really just kind of on the other side of what I do, right? So he's kind of in the same boat as I do. He does a ton on his Instagram, promoting people, pushing people. So he's a really interesting guy to know. And if you guys are in the wedding industry, he's a guy that you can reach out to, and he will help you in anything that you guys need. But that's ultimately what I want, that community over competition. So without further ado, thank you guys so much. Oh, subscribe, share, tell people about this podcast, please. It's been going very, very well with my numbers. I'm very excited, but I need more people to come on. I don't have sponsors or anything yet. So, I don't know how that works. One day I'll get big enough for that to happen. But thank you guys so much for the support so far. This has been a cool little side project, and I'm excited to keep bringing this to you guys. But without further ado, here's Eric Reichenberg.
my friend?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Sunday. I did nothing yesterday, so
Right.
got up, got in the shower, hung out. What are you guys up to?
Yeah, just took Noodles for a walk this morning. Francis just got back from grocery shopping.
Where'd she go?
Smith's
Oh, sweet.
or maybe Walmart. I don't know. We bounced back between those two places.
I'm afraid to go to Walmart.
That's probably why I think she went to Smith's.
Yeah, we've been doing Costco and Sprouts for
Yeah,
everything.
we've been doing Costco and Smith's. Sometimes I'll pop over to Walmart. I go shopping for my mom down in Carson City because she's alone. So
Oh, wow.
I go down the Carson Costco and Walmart right there. That's relatively close to her house, and then get her groceries. So I got to do that. Was going to do that tomorrow, but we got our podcast thing. I like to go in the morning. I mean, not podcast, but the Northern
Oh,
Nevada
yeah.
thing. So I'm going to go on Tuesday morning instead. Beat the crowds.
Well, gives you something to do on Tuesday now.
Exactly. Yeah, that is
Keeps it
something to keep me
exciting.
going.
I know it's been weird. I've been trying to plan my days out like that, like doing one of these a day. I'm gonna slow them down a little bit because I'm only posting them on like the podcast like once a week.
Yeah,
So I have like an archive for like 3 months right now.
smart.
Yeah, and then that way I can keep it going later on. But we're gonna go live here in a little bit, and we'll start a little bit early. But I'm gonna kind of focus on the hour, and really we're just gonna kind of chat. So we'll of course talk about business, pimp all that stuff out, Corona and all that. But if we get into a tangent about something else, we'll kind of rock that as well.
Yep.
FYI, you're right here on my screen. So if you see me keep looking over there, it's because I'm looking at you.
Okay.
This is me looking directly at the camera. Um,
I love. Yeah,
I,
your setup is rocking, dude. I think you have a
it's
different
fun.
color going on this time. Last time you had more of a blue.
Yeah, it's all Philips Hue bulbs, man.
They just
You
changed the
rock.
day, or you just pick your
Yeah,
mood.
it's just an app, just an app in here, and then yeah, you can actually. So Philips Hue is cool because you can set up like a theme. So they already have built-in themes like Havana Sunset and all that, and bright, cool, energized. But you hit it, and no matter where your lights are, it'll actually know where the lights are, and then it'll adjust to the setting. So it's not all pink; it'll be like pink, red, goes into blue. So I have one that says like Edge, and it just does it all itself.
That's
But yeah, any office, and then like LED lights are like the best, which you can kind of see like along there. And
yeah.
so you can strip those anywhere. They just stick to the wall, and then they do the same thing. But I just have a lot of extra lamps everywhere in the office to kind of keep it going.
I love the mood lighting, man. It definitely sets the tone.
I just get bored. Well, when I built this studio, like I built it based off of like a ton of YouTube videos, like epic YouTube video tours, and I'm like, I can do that. And so the whole goal was that I was where that ring light is where I was going to shoot this way. So you would see like all like this setup that I have here.
Right.
And then I didn't think about the opposite end of me podcasting on the
Ah,
computer. And so, I mean, it works out. It works out. There's more stuff I always want to do, but the more money I can spend, the better, I guess.
yep. That's for
Hey,
sure.
have you booked any weddings this whole time?
Dude, I booked 6
Yeah,
during this
I
thing.
know we talked about it
Super-
like a couple of weeks, so like a week and a half ago, and you booked like 3 or 4 or something.
yeah, I just
Yeah,
actually my 6th one's not. They gave me the verbal last night, and then they're most likely going to sign today. But
right.
2 for next year, and the rest were for this year.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I'm still booking, but they're all like end of this year. I think I'm pretty much postponed until August or something. So as soon as May 1st hits, I'm gonna start booking regular shoots again. But yeah, I'm just hearing a lot of people just not working, like they're just not doing anything, and they're like, I'll wait to book later.
Yeah, get it now. That's why when we talked about before, hey, and I'm extra clear, this is a non-refundable booking fee, but if you have to move, we'll be flexible with you and we'll go to a new date.
Right.
Um, ideally do a midweek would be perfect, but
Yeah.
some of them are staying to 7. I've had 13 moves so far now.
13.
13.
Holy crap, dude. Yeah, that's quite a bit. I know it sucks because like even though they're still with you, they're still taking up, we're losing the days. We're losing the money now, and then next year we won't be able to rebook those days at all, and it's
Well,
just not.
all but one moved to this year, or two. No, two are moving to next year, and everybody else is staying to this year.
Staying the same.
And the ones that one took a Saturday, I'm not stoked on. They moved from like May to like June, and I let them. But a lot of them are like on Sundays. At least half of mine that have moved are on a non-Saturday. And most of them are this year too.
Yeah, I mean, I have one that's a Wednesday. That I moved to a Wednesday, which was easy. Another one was a Thursday.
Yeah, that's great if you can do that.
What's your business name? It's Epic Entertainment.
Epic Weddings and Events. We used to be Epic Entertainment, and then when we went more multi-service and to make it more SEO friendly.
There it is. I found it. All right, we're going to get started, and then we're going to go on a tangent. And if there's something you don't want to talk about, you just don't talk about it, and I'll look at the comments if anything comes up, but I haven't been really focused on this lately. But yeah, we'll kind of do that.
All right, I like it.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back to another Raw Focus. We're here with Eric Reichenberg, a really good buddy of mine that we met through the wedding industry, if I can remember, a few years back. And he owns Epic Weddings and Events. And the whole goal with this podcast, guys, everything that I'm doing this for is so that I get to put some personality into the people that I know. So Eric's the same exact way. I feel like I know him professionally. We go through meetings, we joke, we laugh, we have a good time, but I don't know people. And that's my fault completely because I'm so self-absorbed and I'm so all about like, hey, learn about Jeremy Liu photography, learn about Jeremy Liu, that I don't push myself out there. And I've done that ever since I was a kid. I don't know why. And so I feel guilty. And now that we have the time to do this, I want to do this. Eric, there it is.
Sorry, I
got it. That's right.
Background noise.
I'm like, I see your mouth moving. Let me open this up. Hey, buddy, how's it going, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for bringing me on.
No, thanks for doing this. It's been fun. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks now that I've been doing this, and I want to say you're like episode 10, and I was definitely nervous doing this. I'm an introvert by nature, but I also don't know how to talk to people other than a professional aspect. And so I'm trying to kind of open myself out there. And you were kind of first on the list when I was thinking about asking people to come on, but I also wanted to get kind of my bearings going through with the whole setup, with the office, with all that fun stuff. But one thing that I think of you, when I think of you, I always think of uber professional, like the go-to guy for business, the go-to guy for weddings. I mean, that's your whole background, but you didn't start in weddings, right?
No. I was probably more of an introvert, kind of going through high school as well. And Larry Williams, he got me into doing weddings, and that was like right out of high school that I started that venture with him, and it just totally changed my world.
That's insane. Yeah. So, I mean, how long ago? How old are you?
I've turned 40.
Nice. Okay. Year. So has it been about 20 years then you've been doing it?
Yeah. I'd like to say I've been doing this for longer than I haven't now.
That's crazy. I'm 36, so we're not too far off. So you were doing weddings, but before that weren't you how did Intuit come into play?
Yeah. So during college is where I went to school up at UNR for electrical engineering, and that's where I started DJing with Larry and doing some weddings. Once I turned 21, Trader Dick's at the Nugget is where I really got a lot of my experience with talking on the microphone, dealing with all sorts of people.
Weirdos.
And so after I graduated, I ended up getting a job at Intuit. And that's where I just did this on the side. I actually was still with Larry when I started Intuit. And then about a year in, I said, hey, I'm good. And I was going to quit. And then he
quit weddings completely?
Yeah,
I quit DJing?
yep, quit DJing. I'm like, oh, I'm making good money. I've got a career. And at the time, through college, I was dating. I was dating Anna, and she lived in the Bay Area, and so we did a long distance through that. And then when she moved here to Reno, and I'm like, yeah, it's just too much time to have this job. Have
Right.
a girlfriend who then I was proposing to, and then ultimately
Mhm.
got married. That was a little bit of too tough. So then he talked me to stay in one more. And then I just did it on the side as a hustle for a while, and then it just kept getting bigger.
That yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy how you kind of fell into it. Because when I met you, you were at Intuit and DJing. I don't want to say on the side, but I knew that you were doing both.
Yeah, and it was on
Um,
the side. Yeah, it was
so
all word of mouth. I didn't advertise. I barely had business cards. I was getting
right.
some business logos and stuff kind of made, and it's laughable when I put stuff I first was doing, but I charged next to nothing, and I did it because it was fun, mainly for friends and all word of mouth. And then it just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Which is crazy now because like all you do now is like that you're just marketing. I feel like everywhere I go, I open up Facebook, Instagram, anything, you're marketing with your team. Um, and I love it. I think that a lot of business owners need to kind of see what you guys are doing and kind of push that way. Just because a lot of us are expecting things to come to us and they don't really come to us. It's kind of that push forward to pull back kind of thing, and I think a lot of people aren't doing that as
Well,
well.
and but you're rocking the game. You've got everything over on YouTube, definitely everything on social media. And I can't take any credit for the social media. That is everything my wife Frances does. She is
That's right.
when we really started saying, hey, because that's where we met was at Intuit. And
Hmm.
when she left to go to school, and about a year later is when I said, hey, I'm doing this full time. We really sat down to work through, and she's like, what can I do to help in this? I said, I am sucking at social media. So she took that full force and has just really made an impact with it, and
That's
she was
what
working on it
is
last night while we were sitting on the couch.
what does Francis do for work?
So right now she is finishing up her degree
Okay.
at UNR, and she's just got a few more weeks left. She got this really cool internship with Innovator, and so has been working through that. And then
Ah,
we just worked together on Epic to make this a success. And then so when she graduates, we're gonna look at some options. She's debating: does she go back to school?
right.
More school? Does she get a job? Does everything into Epic? So it's given us this quarantine has given us some time to figure it out.
I believe it. Now, I mean, does she get like free reign on everything, like when she's promoting and posting for you guys, or are you like having to check everything? Are you like type A?
Oh,
Because it'd
not
be
at all.
very hard for me to release that to anybody, especially my wife. Because like we have
Yeah.
different styles, we have different whatever. So if I were like, hey, babe, I need you to promote this for me, it would be like all airy and foo-foo-y, and I'm like, no, 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 that's not my brand. So you said no, so she can just kind of do whatever, and you're like, cool.
Well, we went to a branding agency with Bare Knuckle here locally. We were
Oh,
referred
cool.
to them by White Peak. White Peak I met through one of my BNI networking groups with Leanna Carson there. She sat down with me. We got some stuff with White Peak. They referred us to Bare Knuckle. And Bill over there, Bare Knuckle, and his whole team, they interviewed us for a while to understand what are you about, what are you not about.
Right.
Took that information, told a story, and they created this whole brand kit for us. So that is what we work on whenever we post anything is, does it come back true to the brand? She knows the brand better than I do. But we work together on it. She'll create some things. She's like, hey, I need some input for you here. How would you word this? What did you feel about this? And really pull things together in a way that I'm like, if I tried to do anything like that, it would not have been nearly as good. So
Right.
I trust her wholeheartedly for that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have to. I mean, you have to because it's you have to separate that business and relationship kind of thing. There's just some things that couples do I think are amazing, and I'm like, I don't know if we could do it. I don't know how we would do that.
Yeah,
Um,
it doesn't work for everybody. Your brand is all you though. Like you, Jeremy
right,
Lou Photography. It's everything about Jeremy Lou. So you know your brand inside and out for what you want to do. We're
right. My
trying to
brand is
take
just me.
yeah, exactly. We're trying to take Epic and make it more than just about me or Francis or the team to try to focus on that brand. So it feels weird sometimes that Francis will be like, our founder, Eric Reichenberg, da 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 da, right? Trying to speak in the voice of Epic,
Right.
just to separate that from us as individuals.
So, I mean, but when you started, it was just you.
Yep.
How did you get your name?
Uh,
Just because you're
yeah,
Epic?
I was obviously it's Eric is with a K, so Epic is
Right.
kind of a play on that. My phone number, if anyone wants to have it, it's real easy. It's posted on there anyways. Is 250 Eric. And
How
on
did
the
you get that?
phone,
How do you get that?
I worked at Best Buy way back when I was still in college, and they first came out with the phones, and then they gave me my phone, flip phone from way back
Yeah.
in the day, ancient, and they said, "Oh, you work at Best Buy, you get to have a special account, so we have to transfer you to business, so we have to change your phone number." And I said, "You have 3745 because that's Eric." And I also stupidly back in when I was in seventh grade, they had these teen lines, and my
Right.
phone number was 267 Eric. So I've had Eric in my name or my phone number
Oh, like already.
grade, and so that worked. And then on the phone, Eric and Epic are the same, so we were obviously thinking, 250 Epic, that could work. And I
Oh, it
used to
is.
rock climb a lot, and my friends would use that term, and so I went Epic Entertainment. That flows well, and that's the name I went with, and it stuck, and then evolved into Epic Weddings and Events.
That yeah. Okay. That's. God, I just want my name in like a phone. Like I've always like every time I call, do I have a choice? And they send you like three numbers,
Yeah,
and I'm like, my name's 7 letters, and I'm like, can you just do Jeremy? Because that'd be cool.
yeah, that would
What's
be
your
cool if you could get
yeah?
through.
What's your phone number, Jeremy? But it's not spelled normal, so then I have to tell him anyways, and then it'd be a whole ordeal. So all right, so you left Intuit, and then was that the transition when you then went into Epic Weddings and Events rather than Epic Entertainment? Because now you have like a full team, and theoretically you can provide like half of what any bride or groom needs for a wedding.
Yeah. So I had, while I was working at Intuit and still trying to balance both sides, I took, my good friend Steve, who lives just down the road from me, he talked me
Mhm.
into teaching him how to DJ because
Right.
I was turning away so many events because there are only so many Saturdays that you can work. And I'm like, man, I hear him just complaining about there's so much more I could work with if I could multiply myself. And so
Right.
he shadowed me for almost 2 seasons to really get things going. And then I went with him to events and got him up. And that's the process I use for all my guys. And then I brought in some more as well. I bought a photo booth the same time that I had brought Steve on.
Right.
And I had since sold that photo booth now, but that kind of got me into that element. I'm like, here's how I can expand on my revenue, having a photo
Right.
booth that's easy to bring. That's actually how Steve started with me, was helping out with the photo booth, and then evolved into the DJ. In fact, you know Steve, you shot
I
his
shot his
wedding.
wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to go back to his wedding when you shot his wedding there. I was the officiant, I was a
And the
groomsman,
DJ.
I was the
Yeah.
DJ, and he was my only other DJ, so I didn't have a backup. And then I
Right.
did the photo booth too, and so a lot of those were up in
But it
there.
was cool because you were all tech based, right? You had like an iPad out. It was Bluetooth too. We were at Bartley Ranch, and then we had to transition everything to the house, which is not easy, especially being, there's no downtime for you, which I thought you were crazy. I was like, that's insane amount of work. But yeah, you guys were actually good buddies, and their wedding, they're still, I still talk to Steve on social media all the time because we have sons that are
Yeah,
theoretically the same age. Um, but yeah, it's crazy how we think back and look at that, and like I'm sure at that point you're like, I could do this, like I could do it all, and then now you're kind of like, how, I don't. If somebody asked me to do that today, I'd be like, no, like I
oh,
have a
right. I would have a team with me this
right,
time. I did.
yeah,
Steve was my only team member, and he was the groom, so that made it tough. But yeah, through that, then I trained more DJs, got more photo booths, and then Aaron, he and I would go back to college roommate days.
oh
Um,
wow,
he left Reno when he won a DJ contest down in Vegas, went and became a club DJ down there. through his experience, he had a camera, and so he was doing a lot of photos and videos, creative promotional videos, and doing all that down in Vegas. He's got family up here too, so he would split some time up here. He'd do a lot of DJ gigs, and then he contacted me about 4 years ago now, and he had asked, "Hey, what do wedding photographers and videographers? How does that thing work?" And I had said, "Hey, it'd be fun is if we just joined our forces together. If this was something that you were looking to get into, and we could go down that route."
Yeah.
And that's what gave me the courage when he had brought that in, and we started looking at numbers, going, this could be my way to transition out of the Intuit world and corporate side, and make something of my own company and see what we can do to make this work. And
how long has it been then? How long have you been doing what you're doing now with everybody?
So I was doing both. So with everybody, that when was that year that I had left? 2016, I think it was, or maybe 15.
Right.
I don't know. It's blurring together, but it's been about 3 or 4 years, and that's when Aaron and I had joined, and then we had found other people to help be different team members for us, and we use the same team members. Brad Scott up in Tahoe does fantastic work, and he helps out with video a lot. Matt Nelson here local does a lot of video, and then Aaron now is taking on the main role of doing the straight photography.
Right.
We'll do videography too if they don't have photography as part of the package.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he leads it, and then everything on our site is everything edited by Aaron. So whether he was the videographer or not, but we had our team capture that. Everything he puts all the editing on all the photos and videos. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I've always fantasized about one day just shooting, like we call it shoot and burn. I don't know if you guys know that term. Shoot and burn, basically, like I would shoot and then give it to somebody, they edit and they do whatever, and I don't see it ever again. I've always fantasized about that, but again, that type A kind of comes into me, and I'm like, I need to be present when they see the photos. I need to edit the photos and all that. And I've been asked before, like, hey, Jeremy, do you need any associate photographers? Because I only do 35 weddings a year, and I know that a lot of people are like, I could shoot under your name, you can edit it, you can book everything, but I can't make that jump for some reason, and I don't know if I ever will, just because of that whole, like, you're not me shooting at this event. What if something happens?
Yep.
What do we do then?
When you did, is definitely different. Aaron, all of his photography, unless he has a second shooter with him,
right?
The video side, he can help paint the picture, and we've worked with this team enough that they know his style, and
right?
They know how we want to capture it. Plus, when he does both photo and video, if we get one of those, he's still able to direct them and have them
tell them what to do. Yeah.
But I totally get that is definitely a difficult thing to fill, because it's not you, and that defines for photos. Maybe
I'll just hire like a video team, and then they'll just do stuff, and then I just be like, you do stuff and I take your money. So I'm all about, obviously money is kind of like my world with work. I think everybody's is.
Definitely defines a piece of it.
Right. Was that hard at all? Because the number one reason that I don't, I guess, have associate photographers is because I'm worried about income. I'm worried about paying somebody out, doing more work than I should. Did that ever affect you, or do you feel like you're in a spot now where you kind of got the formula going?
Yeah, we were multiple times throughout the process in the very beginning, but at least a couple times throughout the very beginning. We were looking at, do we want to continue to build this side of it, or should we focus strictly on just the DJ and the photo booth side and have that aspect of it, and then keep them separate? Because there's a building phase, right? I mean,
right.
You got to build a name for yourself. So there was not much revenue in the beginning through there as we were continuing to build this through. Now we've got it into with a lot better, with more portfolio and so many more videos to be able to share, and we're getting a lot of positive feedback from that. We've taken the time to work really well within a lot of the venues. So they've been able to help us get us to on their referral lists and get that information out there, plus a lot of the networking and everything that we're doing. So knowing that we're more of the long term has helped make some of that sacrifice in the beginning, to know that if we can stick this out for long enough that it can really make an impact. Plus, it's nice to have that level of control on the
Right.
photos and videos that are part of it, rather than and that's what I love about working with you, is you do a fantastic job of all the vendors with whom you work. You send out the photos and you say, hey,
Yeah.
you want, just I ask that you tag me in here and utilize that. We don't always get that from all the photographers, and it's totally
Which
understandable.
is no, I think it's stupid. I think it's ridiculous that photographers aren't giving photos to all their vendors because that's the easiest way to get referrals.
Yeah,
Like
love
they're
it.
pushing out your images for free and you just say thank you and thanks for working with me. And now, if somebody comes up to you and is like, hey, do you have a photographer? And you're like, yeah, my photographers are booked, but I have Jeremy who I'll refer out.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
yeah, and that's such an easy way. One on the DJ side, I don't have that luxury of here's the mix for the
Yeah,
night.
here's a song I made for you.
Yeah. Photo booths, I'm able to do that with the images and share that, with them and help get that along. And so that's the beauty of having the more control of the images, plus being able to work with a couple. And when we have the full package with these couples, it's fantastic to be able to have a whole team that I know we can coordinate with. We've worked together so much,
Right.
and we can direct and keep each other's back. And then taking that perspective from working and seeing the site on photo video has helped me understand to work with any vendors. When I get
Right.
to work with you, I know what's important for you and what you're going to need to get to make sure that you're there before we move on to anything, even if someone else's mind is elsewhere.
Right. It's the little things that people don't think about. I mean, I think one of the last weddings I did, the DJ was newer and he just didn't let me know anything. So he literally we brought him in and then he went straight he completely killed the timeline, went straight into like bouquet. We weren't set up for bouquet. We weren't set up for first dance or anything. And then it was just dumb. But in my mind, I'm sitting there like, I wanted to slap this guy because it's not because of me. It's because I can't get the photos I need for my couple. And ultimately we're all there for the couple.
Right.
I'm glad that your business is a super success. You're actually still on my referral list, FYI, for DJ only. And one thing that I always joke about, that I still like joking about, is that Aaron, but basically under your company, won Best of Reno last year for the Reno News and Review, which is the last year that it can be done because they just closed.
I know.
That's insane.
That was difficult when we had got that news, because we know that we were right up against there. We were super surprised that you went on there. As we were getting into the different actions with Reno News and Review, we took your advice. So as we sat down with you, how do you get up here? How do you get on that? Mm-hmm. And then we marketed it well and worked it with all of our contacts. And then when we saw the second round, because we were just expecting, hey, if we can just get in top 3 or honorable nomination there when Jeremy wins again this year, then we were all for it. And when you weren't on there, we went all in there. And we know Alexa Woodmansee, she got up there and she got second right with us. So we invited her to join us at the celebration and said, let's do what we can to get so that you can win this next year. Right. And then
and they closed.
Then this happened and they had to fold because of COVID-19 here, and so in the quarantine, and so that was heartbreaking.
It's crazy. I mean, the whole Reno News and Review thing, like, I've won basically, like, when I found out about the award ceremony or the whole best of, I contacted them, like, I want to say like 8 or 9 years ago. And I was like, hey, you guys don't have photographer on there. Can we add photographer? And then I won it. Yeah. And then I've only won it ever since. And then I think like 5 years after winning it, I started to go like, I don't really see the benefit of this, because they kept calling me. They kept saying advertise. And then I would get a lot of flack from, like, especially people in the art community who were like, are you really the best photographer of Reno? Like, I know this guy's way better than you. I know this guy's way better than you. And I'm like, no. Like, I'm just really good at branding myself. Like, people know my name. So when they go to vote and they see the list of photographer, they just remember, oh, this is Jeremy Liu Photography. And that's how I brand myself. So I've never said I'm the best. And so when I lost and not even on the board, I was actually like super happy, because I was just, I don't have to deal with this shit. I don't have to like explain to people. I even made like a YouTube video, I think like last year, the year before, where like everybody, like a bunch of my friends were like, I don't know how he keeps winning this. And it was like a private group that somebody's looped me in. And I made this like super sad video when I was like sick. And I was like, I guess, guys, I'm sorry that I won. Like, I was apologetic for winning. And I'm like, and people are just, that's how they take their kind of anger. So I'm bummed that it's gone. but I'm also happy that I don't have to worry about it ever again.
Yeah, and believe me, Aaron knows, we know, absolutely not the best photographer out there. There are plenty that have way more skill set. This was on our goal list of what are some recognizable things that we can get on and help, so we can
Right.
get rewards and work through that. And it just happened to work out that we got on this one. And so,
But on the other end, it's good. You use it for promotion, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying award-winning photographer, if Aaron doesn't say it already, award-winning DJ, and, you know, stuff like that, where award-winning team. I mean, there's nothing wrong with advertising. I mean, how many places we go to restaurants that say best fries in the West or something like that, and you're like, it's all right. Like, I mean, they're fries. You can't really do anything more to it. And yeah, so on that note, I want to get to your wife here. So how long have you and Frances been together?
So Frances and I have been together since the end of 2011, and we met at Intuit,
Nice.
and then dated for a while, and then I had popped the question, and we went down to Cabo, which happened to be the same place that we got married.
I know. Where did you guys get married in Cabo? What resort?
It's called Grand Solmar, Lands End. And we had, how we kind of got in there was Frances and I had got like a Costco trip down to
right.
We've never been in Mexico together before. Didn't really know how to navigate. There's that gauntlet when you get off the plane. Yep. We didn't know any better. We're looking for a ride.
Did you talk to the people?
Right here. And talking on this excursion thing. Oh, you get all this. You know, you get this glass bottom boat, and you get to go travel on these zip lining, and so we went to the breakfast. I am a sucker for it. Not anymore, but I was, and they talked us into timeshare. So we get this timeshare, and they were like, well, we might as well use it. And they gave us all these free things. It worked well. I don't recommend going out and pursuing and buying a timeshare. But if you utilize it, for us, we love this resort. It's, you know, it's top notch, high in there. They take amazing care of you. And, you know, we got married there. They blew it out of the water for how expected. On our wedding day, Frances really wanted fireworks. I looked at the cost. I'm like, absolutely not. And when we got married, they happened to have fireworks going for the
weird
dinner thing right during our wedding, right after my dad and Frances's mom gave an impromptu speech. It was right before our first dance. Then the fireworks go off, and she goes, "Is this a surprise?" And of course, I'm like,
yes.
Right. And so watching the fireworks, and we went right to our first dance, which we had choreographed. I could not remember dance moves very well. So it was like 90 seconds, and it was a blast, and it was a ton of fun. I told her, of course, the next day, I'm like, those fireworks, I did not pre-plan it.
Right.
Out. But in the moment, it was a lot of fun.
Right. No, yeah. I remember seeing you guys' wedding photos. It was beautiful. You guys both look amazing. When we went to a place called Pueblo Bonito Sunset. And we've only gone to Cabo twice with the family, and we stayed there both times. But we got a timeshare from another wedding vendor, Reno Photo Booth Company. She had a timeshare, and so she just sold us like a week or two of hers. Yep. She wasn't going. And so I thought that was cool. But yeah, we went there the first time, and we did the timeshare meeting. So same thing as you. We went through the gauntlet, and then I didn't know what to expect because, we hired a shuttle service to take us. And I was like, yeah, we're here for a shuttle service. He's like, oh, are you with the shuttle service? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, come over here. And then so I would talk to them, and they're like, okay, we need a $50 deposit if you want to do this stuff. And I'm sitting there like, are you my shuttle service or not? And they wouldn't answer questions. And they're obviously very good at it. But when I get there to the hotel, they're like, if you do the timeshare meeting, we're going to give you a $400 credit. I'm like, how long does it mean? They're like, 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. I'm like, cool, let's do it. I'm going to say no to everything. And I do it. It's 4 hours long. You go through stages. The first guy talks to you about it. He's all nice and cool. And then he's like, let me bring my boss in because, I don't think I did it right. Next guy comes and talks to you. He's a little bit, cooler, a little more assertive. And then I'm like, no, it's cool. All right, let's get you to the third guy who's going to sign you off and let you go and give you your credit. He ends up just belittling us, calling us like white trash and all this stuff in order to get us to the fourth guy. So you said yes. We just kept saying no. So you get to the fourth guy when you're like, no, you do not talk to me like this. This is not how it is. I'm on vacation, blah, blah, blah. And then you get to the fourth guy, and the fourth guy's job is to bring you down. I'm so sorry that other guy was being so mean to you. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do for you. And so basically we signed up with, in order for me to get out, I gave him a fake credit card number, signed up for something, and then never heard from him again. But I got my credit. So it's definitely like, it's intense. So yeah, if anybody has been to Cabo before, head down, walk out,
Yes.
do not talk to anybody when you leave the airport, go find your shuttle and just get the frick out of there.
Yep.
It's crazy. So you guys have been, wait, when did you get married? Was that 12, 13?
2016. Yeah.
2016. So you've been married for 4 years now ish.
Yep.
Nice. And then you have a cool looking son.
Yep. His name's Ethan. He'll be 12. Really? Wait. Oh my gosh, he'll be 12.
Yeah.
Coming up here in July, and we have a puppy. Well, she's no longer a puppy. She's about 2 now. Noodles.
How about Noodles? Is Noodles a little dog?
She is like a mid dog. She's about 25 pounds. She's a double doodle, 3/4 golden doodle, 1/4 Australian.
Oh, that's right. I can't imagine a name like Noodles. It's like this giant like dog. Here's Noodles. How is your son doing? How's Ethan doing with everything? I assumed he was in like school. He wasn't homeschooled, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we live right by DePaul Middle School, so it was a really quick walk. So he got that luxury of not having to jump on the bus anymore for that. It's been not too bad for him. He's been, doing the homeschooling stuff with Stride from what they've given to us. He plays the trumpet too, and so he's been super into playing the trumpet. He picked it up in 6th grade here, and
yeah,
he's learning all sorts of songs like Star Wars and newer pop songs, and just trying to like tie those in. Dad, you recognize this song? And
plays it.
I don't.
Does he have a designated area that he plays it, or he just plays it in the middle of the house?
It's in the middle of the house.
Man, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like the girls will play the recorder at home, and I'm like, no. You're in the back cabin. Go outside.
You have multiple kids. We just have the one to worry through, so we'll sit around and we'll encourage that.
Right.
If we have to be on a call or something, we'll go upstairs to the office. But usually he's down in the kitchen playing, and he'll put on a YouTube video and it'll show the notes of what to play.
Right.
And he'll pull that up on the big screen and just learn that. So it's fun.
Yeah, my oldest has a way of doing that too. They're all crazy. Is Ethan doing the TikTok?
Oh yeah. He he does some really fun editing. He's doing TikTok with these videos where it's like looking like he's like pulling in from the side and lifting his head
the
up.
transitions, right?
Yeah, all the transitions.
Yeah.
He's been doing that a lot lately, and he's been animating. So we found this fun app to learn how to animate, and some of the YouTube people he watches, like Odd Ones Out and some other do animation. So he's trying to get into animating, and he's made some really I'll send some over to you afterwards. He's made some really funny ones.
Well, I'm on TikTok, so just shoot me his thing and I'll add him so I can like his stuff. But I think it's crazy how kids, and I'm sure we adapted too. I'm sure our parents were like, oh my God, how did you understand this computer thing? But the way that they like can navigate through a phone and do the apps, like all my girls are on TikTok and they do these things. And I'm like, how? Like I have to like Google it to figure out how I'm doing it, where they just kind of figured it out. Yeah. It's insane. But like, I mean, is your son just uber bored right now, or is he like thinking this is a vacation with everything, with especially school might not be coming back to the end of the year?
Yeah, he's taking it well. We've built a schedule. We had him build the schedule and kind of work through. He's been sleeping in a little bit more, which is nice. We had to measure how his height is because we measured it week 1 and where he's at. Because with how much sleep he's been getting, not having to get up at 6 in the morning to go to school.
Yeah,
that's been helping. But we've been trying to do different activities. My mom got us this, those paint by number books. But instead of paint by number, it's sticker by number. So it's mosaics that you make.
Yeah.
And so I've been more into this than they have. And then we playing a lot of video games. Luckily we've got a basketball hoop outside, so we work that in. He's part of this group called Sierra Nevada Basketball that he signed up for, and they do a great job with Kyle. Does this group, and he usually does these ball handling clinics on Saturdays over at Damani Ranch. Since we can't
Right.
since we're physically distancing right now, he created a Zoom for ball handling, and so Saturday morning was the first one, and he did that and was wiped by the end of this hour-long one. And now he does them Tuesdays, Thursdays. So finding ways to get creative, still stay active. We go on a lot of walks.
Yeah.
And he's treating it well, though. I'm amazed with his mindset. I've always been amazed with his mindset, but especially now when it could be all doom and gloom, he's like, whatever.
Right.
I get to hang out with you guys. Let's have fun. Let's find ways to get through the day and be helpful.
I mean, that's what it's about. It's really about managing them and, letting them understand everything, keeping certain aspects of what's going on away from them. Like, we don't talk to the kids about that stuff. Luckily, we don't have TV. We stream everything. So like Netflix, Hulu. So we don't see commercials. We don't accidentally see the news. And I remember as a kid, the news was kind of like, I hated watching it, but it was there. And like, I would be like, oh my God, this is happening now. So you kind of figure out the negative stuff that's going on. Are you guys doing anything these last 3 or 4 weeks? Have you guys started anything new that you might not have started if you guys weren't stuck in lockdown?
Not really should have. I've been really just trying to dive in and understand how we can make an impact with the stimulus and what that can work, especially here locally.
Right.
And so, when we did that session with Larry on the 10th and really trying to get learn a lot more that we'll talk about tomorrow. But that's where I've been focusing a lot. And then just diving more into the business and just getting things cleaned up on stuff that I kind of put on the back burner.
Right.
And just building in just better automations, trying to work with a lot of the couples as well to let them know you're not on an island. Don't let this panic you in a way. We can find a way to work into something that's gonna work out. If we can have your wedding, ideally that's the case. And if we have to shift it down somewhere else, don't worry. We'll make it happen. We worked with one couple. She's a nurse. So the bride's a nurse and the groom is in the military, and we gave them an option. So hopefully this is something they're going to go with. They had originally had DJ services with me, and now we're going to pivot to hopefully have it. So this is their third time trying to do their wedding.
Wow.
And he just got deployed. She's on the front lines too. And so we're going to try to shift it to a date that, since I can officiate the wedding, I'm throwing that in there with it. Aaron, we're shifting from DJ services over to photography so he can capture the whole day and just do more of an elopement so they can still get married. And then if they want to do something later, we can, but they don't have to have that hanging over them anymore. So trying to get creative ways that we can help people feel better in this stressful time.
It's crazy, man. Have you guys gotten anything? Like, I don't know if you saw my post. Like, I got the payroll protection. I got PPP the morning that it went away. So I got an email saying, sign these papers, done, sign the papers. Thank you so much. Give us 3 days to get your money. And then I got an email later saying, hey, they're out of money. And so I know that.
And that you don't have the money though?
Right. No, I don't have anything because it was the morning that they announced it. So like all my stuff came at like 6 a.m. I woke up at 6 a.m. and then by 10 a.m. I got that letter. So I did mine through PayPal, who eventually got it to me within 12 hours. So PayPal and Intuit are like the quickest ones right now, besides the credit unions. The giant banks, I tell people just to stay away. I mean, it's at this point, even all my banks were like, you don't have this criteria to get it. And I'm like, bro, like, you're my bank. Like, stop being dicks about everything. Did you guys get anything, or are you in the same boat? Because right now, on the news about an hour and a half ago, they said that they're really close to getting $300 billion back into the PPP, and then like another $125 billion into schools and infrastructure and all that stuff. Where are you guys at with everything?
Yeah, since we had the relationship with Bank of America, and they were one of the first ones to launch the PPP, we had started the process with them. They sent me over a way to upload the documents, got those uploaded, got a call from a Bank of America associate who said, hey, did you upload the documents? You have, great. Let me send you to an underwriter. And that was on Monday, which was on the 13th, and today's the 19th.
Right.
So, and I haven't heard anything all week. And then I saw that they ran out of money, so I'm in this weird limbo. I didn't get approved yet, so I didn't get the number. So you're in a better stance. You should get the money right away since you've got
Hopefully.
now we'll switch through once they've signed everything and it goes all the way up to the top. So now, but I'm in this limbo state of, gosh, do I start something else with?
Well, you can only get one. It's through the same program, right? You can only get one. So once you get it, you can't get it somewhere else. So everybody I talked to was like, just apply everywhere. So that's what I did. So we talked about, I did Lendio, I did all the credit unions, and then PayPal just sent me a thing because they got into the game late. They weren't allowed to actually do it. So Intuit and PayPal, it's all automated. So basically I just signed up 12 hours later. I got my number back and a DocuSign to sign. So I highly recommend, as soon as you can, just Google like Intuit payroll, and just see if they're taking applications. Because they have to go through the application process before they send it to SBA. I would just do it, and then if they beat Bank of America, cool. Bank of America is going to call you and be like, "Hey, we got it, or we didn't get it." But waiting around is the hardest thing.
Oh, it's been killing me, and I've been kicking myself. Should I have started on something a little earlier? Should I jump on these other things?
There's nothing we could have done. I mean, Ruth's Chris took everything, and so it's kind of over with that. Have you heard about that news?
No. What's that?
You haven't heard? Okay, cool, good, because I've been literally telling people all about it. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Do you think they're a small business or a big business?
I have no idea.
The steakhouse, right? So Ruth's Chris is like an super expensive steakhouse. They have 5,000 employees. They got a small business loan for $20 million.
What?
Yeah, so they got double the amount that they needed. And in order for them to do this, they went through Chase Bank day 3, right? When Chase Bank was all about the whole, we don't know, Chase is my bank. So they were like, we don't know what's going on. We don't know how it works. But apparently day 3, they were able to find a loophole where they said, instead of saying that Ruth's Chris Steakhouse has 5,000 employees, why don't we say that you guys have less than 500 per location?
Right, that's what the hotel chains are doing. So yeah,
exactly, and that's totally not what it was for, right? So they got 20 million. A restaurant, a sandwich place called Potbellies, which I've never heard of, which we don't have, got 10 million. And if you go to their Facebook, their Instagram, their Twitter, basically everybody is just denouncing them completely. But it's stuff like that. Like, I think somebody did the spread where if they just gave everybody $30,000, you could have split that 20 million into 700 different businesses that actually needed, that could have been life-changing to get $30,000 for their business at this time. And so it's just a little frustration going on, but that's the thing that's happening within this world.
That's why we need to have some oversight to this and making sure that, and that was where I think that the second push is getting held up on, is to make sure there's this better oversight to go towards more women-owned, veteran-owned, minority-owned, so that it doesn't go to these bigger chains and these bigger businesses.
Even starting from like bottom up, like start with the bottom, give away a whole, it'd be way better for them to show like, hey, we gave this many loans out to this many people, rather than like, we gave out 349 billion. That's great. Like, anybody can just give out the money, but like, how many more, if you can help this many people, it's gonna be way easier. So tell me about your daily life now, because I'm sure a month ago was completely different. In fact, one thing, I don't know if you knew this. I was at Starbucks on South Meadows, kind of by Sprouts, one day. I walked in. I don't even think you saw me. I don't know if you saw me. If you did, you didn't move your eyeballs. But you were talking to a bride, and you were at the first table right when you walk in. So I walked in, and I was just looking at you.
All the time. I didn't know you walked in.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, he's busy. He's in a meeting. And then I just went down, AirPods in, and then I was in between shoots. But I just kind of watched you work. And one of the things that I noticed is you're very good at, that I'm not even good at, is that you are so focused, right? You're just like lasered onto your people that you're talking to. Your computer was down. It was to the side. You were like this. You were smiling. You were talking. And I'm sitting there like, dude, if somebody could just record just this mannerism that he has, they're going to book anything for anything. Is this something you had to teach yourself, or is this what you like? Is this just a normal thing? Because I don't have that focus with people.
That I guess it's been a skill that I learned throughout my life, and how I've done a lot of sales. So that was kind of where with Intuit, that was my main thing was with sales. In fact, I got the job at Intuit because I used my experience working with, who could be one of the more higher demanding patrons is a bride at her wedding, right? You got to have everything
Mhm.
perfect. So I use that in my interview to be able to get that job. Through that, I don't know. I guess it's just someone I didn't even know I was doing that, and it's funny that you
Yeah.
called me out because
Well, and then you ended up leaving, and I was focused on my emails and working, and you end up, and I was like, oh shit, he's gone. Like I was gonna say hi, but I'm like, he's left, he's gone, he's out.
yeah, that's
Um,
typically where I've been asking couples to meet because it's right down the street from my house, so
yeah,
it's really easy to get to. It's an
it's a nice
easy.
Starbucks.
Yeah, people like Starbucks. Either that, or I go to Pianissimo Coffee, which is over by Butcher's Kitchen Barbecue.
I have no idea what is it called? Pissimo?
Pianissimo. It's like tiny piano, I think, is what it means.
Oh,
It's a cool little coffee shop there, and I use an app called Calendly, and I use that to help clients schedule time with me. And so,
right.
with phone, FaceTime. Now I have a new connectivity with Zoom, and so they can actually, when they book time on my calendar, they can say, "Sure, Zoom," and it automatically not only puts it on my calendar, but it connects the Zoom link and gives them all the details and information. So that
I
part
like
is
that.
shifted from in-person meetings to now over Zoom. So that I find that is a big selling point. I can do great with them over the phone because I did a lot of phone sales when I was at Intuit.
Right. But being
But
able to see you is kind of key, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I could do an in-person meeting any day of the week. But yeah, with Zoom lately, I mean, tomorrow I have a meeting with another couple who I'm going to book their wedding. I'm going to book it. That's why I tell people, if you're going to spend the time with me, we're going to book it. Otherwise, we're wasting everybody's time. And so, yeah, we're doing, I think we're doing a phone call, or I give them the option. I don't use Calendly, but I know you talked about that quite a bit at that one meeting that we had together.
oh yeah,
Um,
first NBA meeting I went to when I presented.
yeah. So how's your guys' eating right now?
It so we used to go. We didn't realize how much we used to go out and pick up
Right.
food, go out to eat until we couldn't really, or it was just like, well, all right, we need to. We don't know where money's coming in. Let's
Right.
figure it out. So I am not a great cook, but if Frances gives me a recipe and directions, I can make it.
Yeah.
She's been helping, and she takes amazing care of all of us, including Noodles, with the food situation. So I made the mistake. I'm like, cheat day yesterday. We've only ordered out 3 times while we've been on this. All 3 times have been at New York Pizza. I had pizza last night, and I tell myself I can still do pizza. I am at the age that I can't handle pizza. Really.
What can't you handle? Is it the cheese? Is it the dairy?
I think it's more of the bread because I gave up. I tried to give up bread for as much as I could over a year ago now, when it was just my stomach was just kept getting messed up, and so I'm like, let's
Right.
just have something I eat all the time, bread, and my stomach got way better. And it's amazing how much bread I used to eat compared to how much I don't crave it really anymore.
Right.
I try to avoid it now, basically at all costs. I try to substitute that bread more with spinach. So been doing a lot of green shakes lately.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My thing was dairy, and I didn't realize it. So
That too, I gave up.
yeah. So dairy. So I mean, it's been a month now, but I gave up dairy, meat, eggs, um, whatever veganism is. I'm a vegan, so
I was just gonna say you're gonna speak vegan. Wow, that I aspire to do that, and I
yeah,
have
it's not
not.
as hard as you think. I mean, we still cooking. We made pizza last night, so we made pizza with
Cauliflower.
well, it's vegan dough, but yeah, you can make cauliflower dough. You can eat most bread, so even like those Dave's Killer Bread, you can even get that,
Yeah,
smush it down, and just make little mini pizzas.
it's really
Um, but it's been awesome. So a ton of salads. I'm just not eating meat, and I realized then that how much meat was a play on like what I was making. It was always like meat and then the sides, right? Meat and then
Yep.
the sides, and I was like, as long as I'm eating my protein, I'm good to go. But I wasn't losing weight. My body wasn't changing. I was tired. I wasn't doing well in bed, and I always was like, all right, I'm just getting fat, and that's what's happening. I'm not, chilling. And all of a sudden, when meat was gone, it was just this weird, like, holy shit, like my whole body's changing. So, um, you know, I don't even crave meat anymore. But that was one of the scariest things that I did. I was like, I can't have like prosciutto. I can't have turkey sandwiches. I can't go to Subway. I can't get L&L barbecue.
Mhm.
But it definitely, Yeah, that's good. I always ask you. I feel like everybody in the quarantine is eating better, doing better. I noticed the same thing. We're saving a ton of money on just not eating out all the time, and I didn't realize we were eating out that much. But I do miss sushi.
Yep,
Um,
top of our list is for sure as
yeah,
well.
so I might modify. I might do a little modification, but I haven't. Yeah, I'm not supposed to eat fish, so I don't know how that's going to work. Give me
What's it called? It's called pescatarian, where you eat fish.
can yeah. There's so many different versions. Like so, a vegetarian means that you can still eat. You just don't eat meat, right? But some people say you can eat eggs, you can eat fish, you can eat chicken, all that stuff. Vegan is not what I theoretically am because a vegan is my diet, but I don't care about like true vegans don't wear leather. They don't anything
Right.
of an animal they don't use. And me is just strictly diet, but I have no connection to like wanting to help, you know, repopulate cows or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's
not.
not, I don't have this. Yeah.
It's digestive more.
Right. It's more of health for me. And so I don't die early. Oh yeah. So yeah. And that the reason I started is I had a blood test. Are you doing annual stuff?
I am. Yep. Yep. So got my blood test stuff. I've always been up there pretty well with with everything. My blood pressure been good, and
Right.
I used to give blood a lot. I still do, but right now this pandemic has got me a little worried. But I know it's more needed now than ever, and I have O positive, so I need to get out there and just
Uh-huh.
get protected and help give blood that way. But you said you
I
got your blood test. So
don't. I don't give blood. I got a I got a blood test, and I'm 36, man. So this was my first like physical was this year or like whatever. I haven't even done a physical yet. It's just a blood test, and I went and talked to the doctor. She said, "How you doing?" I'm cool, and I got high cholesterol. So that's kind of what started. But when I got high cholesterol, I was eating really good fish, chicken, vegetables, and all that stuff. So that kind of turned me a little bit because I was like, I'm doing something wrong. Both my parents have passed from heart stuff. One's a stroke, one's a heart attack, and so we're all just trying to figure out what's going on. Everybody's worried. I'm trying to outlive my parents at this point. Um, but it's one of those things. I think it's all to genetics, right? It has to be all genetics.
I mean, it's definitely plays a part in there, right? And then there's just lifestyle and with your diet and exercise that can make an impact, but genetics is a part that you have to work into that. Whether you have to work a lot harder to get that out, or if sometimes you might not have an option to not.
Right. That's crazy, man. I don't know. I don't know how this works. It's just one of those things. I always thought I was invincible forever, and now we're all getting older. We're all living a little bit. What's the first thing you guys want to do once everything's lifted or once we're allowed to go and do something?
Oh, now that it's warm, I would love to just go up to Tahoe and just go swimming in there and just enjoy the time at the beach. Something that I took for granted with how close we are to Tahoe.
I think we all do. I think everybody that lives here does.
Yeah, especially down in Reno, where if you're living right on Tahoe, you're taking advantage of it because you're spending a lot of money to be right there. So
right
in Reno, like gosh, it's a 25-minute drive. I don't know if I want to make it. Right, we make these excuses up for not now.
Exactly.
Point to go up there every day if we can. Gas is so cheap right now. Who cares about that?
Dude, it's like somebody posted it was like $1.19 at Costco like a couple weeks ago. I think it's like closer to $2 now. But yeah, I haven't had to fill my tank in like 2 weeks now. I have nowhere to go. And so I'm kind of upset about that. I'm like, I just want to like hoard it or something, like put it in my garage.
It's get a bunch of canisters out cheap. Since I was like in college, it has not been this cheap. Yeah, I think Carson City I saw yesterday when I was looking to go down there, the Costco was like $1.79.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know, it's great. So, all right, let's what other jobs have you done like before any of this, or was this is this all you've done?
So when leading up to it, I mean, my first job ever was I worked at one of the car dealerships down in Carson City and had a McDonald's job. I worked in the grocery store. I worked at Meeks Lumber Yard. Then when I got the job at Intuit, I had a bunch of roles at Intuit. I started in sales, a few different teams, and I went and did like a teaching role. And then I came back into sales, and then I got promoted to being a manager. That was crazy, managing people. And then from there, I did I was a channel marketing manager, sales operations manager, and then I was a business engagement manager. And then my last role at Intuit before I left was in human resources, and I was a site engagement specialist. So I basically got a great job of working with the people at Reno and tried to help build the morale to make it fun to work there. And I
Right.
managed an office down in LA. So that's where I was maneuvering between things and really started seeing that I wanted to see what's life is outside of the corporate world and see if we can make this epic thing work. And
Right.
that's when I made the leap. So, but yeah, the only career that I've had outside of doing this was I basically learned all of my business stuff from Intuit because I studied electrical engineering in college, and so I didn't have that business knowledge from business classes. I learned a
Right.
lot from Frances in business classes. She's been taking a ton, and I've been trying to read the things that she's doing and have her teach stuff.
I mean, yeah, it's the same with me. I mean, like I'm self-taught with everything. What's the future then of the DJ world? Like not even the whole wedding world, but like for instance, I feel like I am at the cap of what I have, right? I have all the gear that I need, I have all the lenses that I need. I'm kind of there. And it kind of makes me sad because I remember the most exciting part of my early career was like, oh, I'm going to get this lens, I'm going to work towards this new camera body and all that. What about you? Is there anything exciting that's happening that you are kind of that keeps you kind of going, especially within the DJ world?
That's a great question. We've been evaluating this. When can we get back into doing larger gatherings beyond 10 up to 50? If we have to keep it 50 for a little bit, because the
Right.
vast majority of the income that I have on the DJ side is with weddings, holiday parties, and some birthday parties and other side things kind of take up maybe 20% of it, but 80% is with weddings. So I don't know. It's
Mm,
an interesting thing. We're looking at do we have to um, get some other type of income that we can maintain through the rest of this year if it goes that long. I'm hoping we
right.
get back by August. When we were talking before we jumped on, I've been working with many couples still, and we booked 4 or 5 weddings more for this year and a couple already
Yeah.
here. And so it's just staying positive with that and trying to work through and see what we can do. And then it's when we can go to these events, do we all wear masks? Are they
Right.
checking temperatures before they get into the door? Are we
I
going to
know
have
we got to get some cool like logo masks or something. See if a company's making like I can throw my logo on my mask.
yeah, I know there's yeah, right. So working with that, and then with microphones and people giving speeches, having
Oh
sanitizer,
yeah.
and then wipes. We can make sure we wipe everything down between. Do we just put it on a mic stand? How
Right.
is that? How is that going to work? Steve even brought up, do we have to come up with more creative, engaging games to do during weddings because maybe people won't be able to dance as close together? Um,
Yeah.
and even how do we is there a way that we can live stream or do something where if we have to gather with a smaller number of people, can we still get
Right.
that footage out to everybody else that wants to enjoy the wedding and be there and have maybe a virtual dance parties, virtual Zoom speeches?
I
I don't.
think that yeah, the dance is gonna be the toughest. Hopefully everybody's lax. Hopefully there's a way that we can sanitize people when they come in or something. You know, make sure everybody just sanitizes down. Maybe something for the shoes or whatever that they step into. Um, but yeah, I shoot a lot. I shoot for like a couple grow shops, dispensaries for marijuana, and there's certain things that we've always had to do so we don't contaminate the product.
Right.
And I think that route is the way to go. But like it's like full on gear. I have to dip my feet in these things, wash my hands, wash my face, all that stuff. It's crazy. So going back to like your old jobs, I think the only ones that we actually coincide with is the McDonald's one. Because I worked at McDonald's when I was 13, and then I was a manager there when I was 14, over here on Vista and I-80,
Is that
which it's totally legal, man.
the
I
fake
believe it's legal.
family? How do you?
So I mean, it was the closest McDonald's here, and I opened up when I was 13. It was a summer when it opened up, and it opened up on Pyramid and McCarran over there. So it's over there. So that has to be, that's open for a little over 20 years now. But I remember it was like state of the art at the time. And Then I got transferred over to the Vista and I-80, which is closer to my house. And then I became what was called a white shirt when I was like 13 and a half. And then when I was 14, they gave me a manager position. It was Monday through Friday from 4 to 11. So I would go, I was in eighth grade at the time, and I would go to eighth grade and then get home, eat, and then ride my bike to McDonald's and work. And so my work ethic, that's how it started. But I have stories. How long were you at McDonald's? Do you remember stuff about it?
I was there I was not too long, maybe 6 months.
Right.
Because then from there, I ended up getting the job at Albertsons. But
Oh,
I remember having to work in the back and being, like the fry cook and salting,
right.
Flipping the burgers and putting them in the bins and queuing. They called it queuing, right? Queuing up in the microwave and getting the orders out and running the drive-through and doing the cashier at the front and cleaning all the
So they kind of put you everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is, and it was a fun job. I mean, it was a fun job. I was, 14, and my friends would come through with their parents, and I give them free food and all the stuff that you're not supposed to do because you're putting a 14-year-old in charge of a business. It was stupid. And we would trade like the guy that worked at the Chevron next door, because ours was attached to a Chevron. He would come over and we would trade out like bubble gum. Like I'd ask for gum and stuff, and I'd give him a free shake. So, neither of us owned anything. We were just giving each other free stuff. It was definitely cool at the time. So, I mean, working at places like that, do you eat at McDonald's, or did that give you like a bad taste in your mouth, or did you care?
At the time I ate there, I had really bad complexion while I worked there as well. And I think even that was part of the reason to get out of that, because I'm like, this grease is not. And I don't. We even before the whole thing started, we would go out to fast food places maybe once a month. I'm not a fan of McDonald's or any of the other fast foods. We'd maybe pop it in and out, but when having to give up bread and cheese, like burgers kind of went out.
It's harder.
For me, it's definitely more difficult. And then, soda, I don't, I'm on this kick now with sparkling water. Mexico got me into sparkling water. I found it helped my stomach more. And then now I drink like how do they say
it's
it?
Infused, right?
Vapor distilled, where they infuse the flavor into there for you. But for me, it's like these carbonated drinks. It's like I'm drinking a soda, but it doesn't have 40 grams of sugar per can.
Right.
Going down you with.
And you don't just drink regular water? You can't just drink regular water?
I do. I drink regular water, but I even then put a lemon in it and a slice.
Right.
I love the sparkling water side. I don't know what it does.
It's a little fancier, it makes everything a little fancier. One of my last thing about McDonald's here, one of my McDonald's hacks when I worked there, and I gained a ton of weight in high school. I've always fluctuated with weight, but it was because of stupid McDonald's. I would always walk by, I'd grab 2 pickles, no gloves, of course, because who does that? 2 pickles out of the pickle bin, and then I would put it with a chicken nugget, and then I would dip it in barbecue sauce. And I would have like in an 8-hour shift, I would just keep popping those in all day. And I don't know how many calories that is, but like that was like my hack. That was like my thing that I ate all the time, and it was delicious.
That's
it makes me miss it.
For McDonald's.
You weren't there long. I think I was there for like 2 years. There was a lot of weird stuff that happened at McDonald's when I was there, and I have a lot of cool inside stories. Eric, we're going to pop off of Facebook Live here in a few minutes. But before we do, I do want you to pimp yourself out here. Anything that you want to say, anything you have going on, especially during this time. This will end up going on to the podcast Raw Focus in about a month and a half, 2 months. So, we'll be able to pop that again. But tell the people who you are, man.
Thanks. Yeah, Jeremy, I appreciate it. So, again, Eric Reichenberg, Epic Weddings and Events. We are a DJ, photo booth, photography, and videography company that you've kind of pieced together here so far. I'd, been born and raised here in this area, went to school down in Douglas, and just been in this whole 35-mile radius my whole life and just love the area. So anything to do to kind of help keep things local here is what I try to be about. As far as for things that are kind of helping right now, biggest thing is, if you're looking to get married and and you want to have some interaction with the company, we'd love to help design that and help introduce to other great people as well. I know, Jeremy, with you mentioned that we're on your referral list, and I totally appreciate that. And we have our list that whenever we get a couple that has not that is looking for a date that we already have booked, you're always there on our list as well. If here's some alternative options that we would love to connect you with that do great work and stand behind their work in that way. And that's what we do. We stand behind it. Our whole goal is to remove stress from couples' lives. Planning your wedding and choosing your guest list is already stressful enough, especially if we have to keep it under 50 people here short term until the vaccine comes in. And so we want to help navigate through that. I've been a part of hundreds of weddings. Every wedding we always learn something new from, and how to apply to the next one and help give advice. And our whole goal is just make it the most fun possible, work together with all of the vendor teams, because it is that thing. That's what I love about our collaborative area here. When we work with other professionals from out of town, photographers, videographers that come in, and they say, "Hey, can I set my stuff here?" I'm like, "Absolutely, we're one team." They are pushed, or they take a step back because they're not used to that from outside of this area, and
which is weird.
It baffles me. So work together, continue to work with each other, and find. I love even though you and I technically are competitors because we have photography and so do you. We don't really like that, because if there's someone that offers the same level of service that you have, that's a great person you want to be friends with. You want to refer things back and forth, because if they get booked on a date, they will pass it over to you and vice versa. So the more we can collaborate, the better everybody wins. And that's what I want to continue to.
I think it's smart. Yeah. I've always lived with the community over competition aspect. And I don't really, although we have competitors, I don't look at competitors that way. I book enough that to keep myself going. So I'm happy to push out forward. But you are one of the vendors that I get excited about when I see you on that list. I just know everything's going to run a lot smoother and a lot easier for me. So it's less stress for me. But also, I think you're just a cool dude. We had, and we won't mention any names. We had a wedding last summer. Was it last summer? Where I left a little bit early than I should have, apparently, but I was done with my work. And when I left, a huge brawl happened after. And then the only reason I knew this is because you called me or texted me and you're like, "Bro, it's going down now." And I was like too far to turn around. But
it's a good thing you didn't capture that.
I wanted to so bad. I would have been like, here's the capturing. But yeah, it was just stuff like that, little things like that kind of put the friendship into everything. And that's ultimately what I care about. Eric, thank you so much for joining me today. You're going to stay on the line and I'm going to close off Facebook Live. So say bye to everybody.
All right, bye. Thanks for having me, Jeremy. It's great. And thanks for joining us today, guys.
Yay. Awesome, man. How'd it go?
That was great. Yeah, great questions.
Thanks.
I know I touched on Anna there for a second and then jumped over to Francis. So I don't know if people don't know the story kind of about that.
I didn't know if you wanted to talk about that, so we weren't going to bring that up unless you did.
I knew that's where you were going with not wanting to bring it up unless I didn't. I was on the fence. People that know the story don't know, but people that don't know the story are like, wait, I talked to Anna earlier, and then he jumped over to Francis.
But we did a good job on the dates and everything. So when you talked about earlier and then later on when you guys got married, you and Francis got married in 2016. I'm sure people will figure it out. And theoretically, this is all still recording on the podcast. So if they do get to it, they're like, "Oh, cool! Now I know something life-changing happened." But
the podcast is still going. It's always
but like I said, I didn't even know that until we talked at Hidden Valley a couple months ago. Yeah. I just assumed it was you and Francis the whole time, and Ethan was hers and all that stuff. So it was one of those things where, and like I said, I just don't put myself out there enough or spend the time with people to do that because I'm so self-involved in my shit. And I got to do this. I got to do this. I got kids, and I hate that I do that. But it's something I definitely notice that I do, especially in the last 5 years or so. I've noticed where I'm like, I really don't know much about them. I'm not frozen. It's just my camera. But yeah, it was awesome, dude. So we got tomorrow with layers. And I have no idea what we're talking about. Super generic. So
I think same update as last time, I think.
Yeah. hopefully we'll find out more about the PPP. So I'm going to keep an eye on that for tomorrow. Unemployment, we don't know anything about. So we'll let him kind of just talk and jump in. What do you got going on the rest of the day?
Not much through. I think we're just going to do a bunch more stuff just around the house. We've been trying to get some little projects done, trying to get the garage and organized and cleaned up. And Frances has just for these last few weeks, so she's going to be studying while I'm just working with the kiddos. And,
nice.
And I don't know. I think I was going through and just organizing some more things for the business wise and trying. I have this whiteboard full of. We've been checking off a lot, but full of things that we want to just help get automated that'll help us get through the season once we get back to that a lot easier and people up to date. One of the things we have on the list is what you do, we mentioned earlier, with sending out that vendor list. Mm-hmm. I mean, the photos to all of the vendors that are a part of that. Our forms capture all of the vendors on there, and so we've been updating some of those to get those additional details so we know we can email and build that automation.
And sometimes you don't get people. Like sometimes I'll get like one vendor on a wedding and I'm like, this is frustrating. And sometimes you know, a lot of people don't even put their email addresses on their websites or anything. And I need emails. So sometimes I'll have to go through their like page and be like, hey, can I get your email so I can send you photos? Like it's nothing, you know, and so you don't get everybody. And then sometimes you'll send it to everybody and you'll get one person respond or download and everybody else is like, we don't care. And I'm like, whatever.
Oh yeah, I love that. Was always before we had anything with photography and videography. Anytime that you sent that out, I was always looking forward to getting those, looking at all the photos and seeing how we can just relive it and get some professional photos. That
promotion.
Exactly.
Awesome, buddy. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time. I know you guys have a busy life going on. Tell Francis I said good luck with everything. And then Ethan, if he wants to find me, it's just Jeremy Lou on TikTok.
All right, yeah.
I got some cool stuff. I have one video that's viral, so he can look at that. But it's me trying to peel an apple with my hands, very unsuccessfully. But it's there's a girl on there that goes, "Hey guys, everybody wants to know how I peel an apple like this," and I have a duet with her, and I'm like, "All right, cool." So I'm just like this, and I'm trying to peel it. She does it like just like that, and I'm failing miserably, and I'm like, my veins are coming out and I'm falling on the ground, and apparently nobody else can do this but this girl, but she made it like the easiest thing ever.
Oh, that's great. All right, yeah, I'm excited to check that out. But dude, yeah, thanks for having me. I only have one kid and one dog to worry about, along with.
Do you know what? Sometimes that's even harder because you have to put all your attention on this one kid. At least I can be like, hey, we got to separate, you know, with your brothers and sisters and all that. And you know, they can play with each other, so sometimes it's easier. I'm like, go and watch the boy.
Yep. That is definitely a blessing when they have that. And Ethan's like, I don't want another sibling, and so
yeah, might not be up to. Well, I don't know where you guys are at, but like, it might not be up to you, buddy. It might just be a good trip to Tahoe one time and surprise, son. Awesome, man. All right, you can end the meeting anytime, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, my friend. See you tomorrow.
Later.